Hiya, my name is Gray and my pronouns are they, them. I am the Golisano College of Computing and Information Science, as well as the Student Success Liaison Librarian. Today, I will give you a quick introduction into peer review and tips for GCCIS students who are looking for peer review sources, all under 10 minutes. I will quickly go over what is peer review, how does peer review work, why does it matter, and then where can I find peer-reviewed material. I'll do a quick demonstration in the ACM Digital Library, IEEE Explore, and Google Scholar. Oftentimes in our academic work, we will see requirements from professors about peer review articles. So what is a peer review article? Well, peer review is the process used by academic journals and other publishing entities to ensure quality and credibility of the work that is submitted for publication. In the peer review process, content is evaluated and vetted by other experts or professionals in the same field of study before it's published to a journal or a database. Therefore, peer review article is content that has been evaluated before it gets published. So how does it work? Well, there are several types of peer review. The most common processes have varying degrees of anonymity, but essentially a reviewer or reviewers will vet the content prior to being looked at by the editor for publication. So why does it matter if something is peer reviewed or not? And why do professors ask for it? Well, it helps ensure the validity of information before students and other researchers look at the material. It does this by checking to make sure the methodology and the results are logical and factual. It verifies that information is accurate, correct, and error-free. It helps increase subject or industry standards, and it confirms that the information is free of plagiarism, misinformation, data manipulation, or other ethical concerns. Now that we know why peer review is important, we also have to know where to find articles that have been peer reviewed. So unfortunately, the three most used databases for computing students also tend to be the three hardest to discern if something is peer reviewed, if you don't know what to look for. Unlike most academic databases and RIT's summon search bar, there are no peer review filters in Google Scholar, IEEE, or ACM Digital Library. So we have to practice our lateral searching skills. You may be asking, what is lateral searching? Well, essentially, it's the act of evaluating a source by comparing it to other sources or cross-referencing the material, the author, or the journal. We do this type of search all the time in our daily lives without even realizing it, but I'll show what this looks like in practice when we get to Google Scholar. For now, I'm going to jump over to the library website and start with ACM and IEEE. As a reminder, when using RIT's summon search bar, we can see that we do have a filter for peer-reviewed articles. Just going to be right down here on the left-hand side. Just double checking. Yep, here it says peer-reviewed. But I'm going to take a step back and navigate to our database finder and travel through there to get to ACM. Search collections, databases. I know what I'm looking for, so I'm just going to hit A. Okay. So the ACM Digital Library is the world's most comprehensive database of full-text articles and bibliographic literature covering computing and information technology. The Journal of ACM is a peer-reviewed scientific journal covering computer science in general, but especially theoretical aspects. ACM also makes available conference proceedings, surveys, and more. But when searching for peer-reviewed material on ACM, we're going to look for a few things. There's content type, journal name, and reproducibility tags. These are all going to help indicate to us whether or not something has been peer-reviewed. But the key is that everything that has been published by ACM is peer-reviewed, and this includes conference proceedings. You can tell if something is published by ACM by this little blue icon here. One of the nice things about ACM is that it defaults to ACM items first. And then if you choose, you can open up your search results. Here we go. And we can see here that this item has not been published by ACM. So we would have to do a little bit more research to figure out if this has been peer reviewed. But I can tell from the content type, it's a doctoral thesis, that it has probably not been. Next up is IEEE. Back to our database finder. So similar to ACM, IEEE requires all conference papers and author-centered journal articles to go through the peer review process. And to find articles that are published by IEEE, you would just look in the item data. Here we go, publisher, IEEE. So this indicates to us that this has been through the peer review process. And lastly, we have Google Scholar. Google Scholar is the hardest to find peer-reviewed articles on. Similar to IEEE and ACM, there are no filters. So what we have to do is a bit of that lateral researching that I talked about. And the first thing before we even get there that I'd like to tell students to do who prefer Google Scholar is to make sure that you're linking it to your RIT account. You can do this in the RIT library account and by adjusting your Google settings. Mine has already been done. And that's why we see this little link here of more at RIT. But this helps make sure that we aren't hitting as many paywalls, and it'll also help us recognize if something is peer reviewed. So with my search, I'm just going to go ahead and click Explainable Automated Pain Recognition in CAT. So from the Google Scholar page, I cannot see any indication of whether or not this specific item has been peer reviewed. So what I'm going to do once I click the item is some lateral searching and learn more about the journal. So I am on the About Journal page here, and I'm just going to scroll, browse, and I do see here that this journal is peer reviewed. Another thing that we can do when it comes to Google Scholar, if we're still unsure and we haven't found more information, what we can do is copy the title, go back into our summon, paste the title, and if we have access to that item and it's peer reviewed, here we go, it'll let us know. So that is it for me. Hopefully this short video and demonstration will help you in your research process and gave you some quick tips. Thank you for watching. And if you have any more questions, please reach out to me via email or visit the library website and join one of our live chats. Thank you so much.